acts enough times in a certain way, and we learn to accept that thought, it then becomes part of our subconscious. Nature has so built us that we have absolute control over the material which reaches our subconscious mind through our five senses, although it is not meant to be construed as a statement that we always exercise this control. So what does that mean? Hill is saying that we have 100% control of whatever attaches or becomes our subconscious mind. Just because we have that control, though, this is important. We have that control. But what he's highlighting is very few of us actually use it. Very few of us even know what it is, right? Asked him what autosuggestion was, very few hands went up. If we don't even know what autosuggestion is, very good chance we're not controlling our subconscious mind. In the great majority of instances, we do not exercise it, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty. And that's something I always like to talk about, because the book is called Think and Grow Rich, and he talks about money and he talks about poverty. And I've talked to so many people, and they ask what books I read and what's been impactful, and I always point this out. And I've had a lot of people say, well, money's not really my big thing. I'm financially okay, or I don't really care about it. That's fine. But when you actually read this book cover to cover, a lot of people never make it through. You realize that he's just using money as an example. It's a topic. However, he highlights right in the beginning of this book, the book is not about money. If you want money, that's what it's about. If you want significance, that's what it's about. If you want to build your family, that's what it's about. So the practice of autosuggestion is for whatever you want it to be with. And money or poverty is just the examples he uses in this book. This was written back in the time of the Great Depression. So money was a very popular topic. Everybody was broke. Well, here we are almost 100 years later, still everybody is almost broke, right? What do they call that promotion? The rise above poor, right? That whole promotion is based on the fact that the vast majority of Americans still do not have enough emergency money if a $400 emergency popped up. Guess what? Your water heater is $800. The average American does not have enough money in their bank account to pay for that. So we're still broke, right? Your five senses that he mentions here that we perceive things are sight, touch, hearing, smell, and taste. That is what most people use to make every single decision in their life. If you keep relying on just those five senses, you're never getting anywhere. I shouldn't say that, you're getting somewhere, but maybe not where you want to get. So he mentions in the chapter of autosuggestion, he says to go back to the second chapter of the book, and he says to reread the 6 definite practical steps for transmuting desires for riches into its financial equivalent. And these 6 steps, again, it doesn't have to do with money, you can change it to whatever you want it to be with. Fix in your mind, step 1, fix in your mind the exact amount of money, or whatever else, you desire. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. I've brought enough people into this business, and it is amazing when you sit down with someone day one. Yeah, man, I'm going diamond, 90 days. $12,000 a month, that's me, that's what I'm doing. And you can ask them, okay, well, we learned from Eric Worre, we learned from Casey. How much time would you be willing to put in your business to create that? Okay, 4 hours a week, all right? Well, how long would you be willing to do that? 90 days. Okay, well, you're probably not going to go diamond. But anyways, the point is that a lot of people have that expectation, and they get started, and a week goes by, and they're like, well, I'm not rich yet, because they're expecting something for nothing. Hill has pointed out here, there is no such thing. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire, and begin at once, whether you're ready or not, to put this plan into action. Write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition state. State what you intend, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. And step 6, read your written statement aloud, twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. So my question is, why does Hill have us refer back to this? He's talking about autosuggestion. Why is he going back one chapter to bring this up again? And the answer is because of step 6. That is autosuggestion. You can do 1 through 5. You can do that. But if you don't do Step 6, if you don't do the auto-suggestion, read your written statement aloud twice daily. If you're not reminding yourself, reading it, writing it, then that is not transferring over into your subconscious. That's why he brings it up here again. Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts that have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. This is another big thing to understand. Who here's ever read something every day and it's just never really meant anything? Or who here has ever sat down with family at the dinner table and prayed before dinner, and the whole family just says the words, they pray so fast, but you can tell the only thing on their mind is that plate of food sitting in front of them, right? Because they're rambling through it, they're saying the words, but they're not adding or mixing the emotion or feeling. So you can do all of this, and that's why this is so important. You can do all the steps, but if you're not believing it, if you're not creating that emotion or feeling, it's not going to transfer. And that's what Hill is pointing out. You can do all the steps, but if you don't have that emotional attachment, if you do steps 1 through 5 in the Jade Factory, you do it, but you don't have the emotion, you don't have the belief, your subconscious is never going to accept that. And you're always going to be set back. So things to keep in mind. Your ability to use the principle of autosuggestion will depend very largely upon your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until that desire becomes a burning obsession. And that's a huge thing in this book. It has to become a burning obsession. Otherwise, you're probably not going to run with it. You're not going to burn your bridges if it's not a burning obsession. We must learn to hold our thoughts until we can actually see whatever we're thinking about in our mind. And I was taught to use a toaster as an example several months ago, and this is really impactful, but I don't really have to dig into that. So who here, when Casey used the toothbrush example, who here could actually see their toothbrush? They can visualize it. You know what color it is. You know about how big it is. You know if it's electronic or whatever, right? You know the kind of bristles. You can visualize your toothpaste. So I'm not going to do it with the toaster because it's the same thing. But no, that's okay. You're working on your way, saving time. The point is that you know that so well that you don't even have to be in front of your toothbrush. Or if I said, for example, if I said, think about the toaster in your house right now, or when you're a kid or whatever, you can probably see that toaster. And even now, with your eyes open, looking around, can you guys see your toothbrush? If I tell you to visualize your toothbrush with your eyes open, can you see it? Rob, can you see your toothbrush? What color is it?
White and blue.
Cool, all right. So that is how powerful your subconscious is. And when you're going through that, you need to have that for whatever your goals are, whatever you're working on. If you want money in your bank account, if you want that goal, if you want diamond, if you want sapphire, if you want car qualified, Claire, what kind of car you got on your board?
I have 2. It's a front. It's the new Cadillac. It has to be an SUV to fit all my grandkids in. Yeah,
Okay.
It's a new Cadillac.
You need to be able to visualize that on demand, right? Somebody shakes you out of bed in the morning, you got to be able to see that Cadillac.
Oh yeah.
Your eyes pop open, you see that Cadillac.
I can do
That's auto-suggestion. Do not trust your reason when creating your plan. Your reason is faulty. Moreover, your reasoning faculty may be lazy, mine sure is, and if you depend entirely upon it to serve you, it may disappoint you. That's why people start out, the example of the 90-day diamond. They start out all ambitious, but then their reasoning mind kicks in. The week goes by and they didn't enroll 5 business partners. And then they're like, oh, well, maybe Sapphire is more realistic. And then a month goes by and, they're just barely etching on Jade. They're like, oh, maybe I'm not meant to be a Sapphire, or maybe it's going to take longer. Whatever. Your reasoning mind is messing with you. That's why you need autosuggestion, because autosuggestion is going to eliminate or set aside your reasoning mind and tell it to shut up so that you can work on what you really want. Examples of autosuggestion. I like this one with Bart Simpson. I will not do anything bad ever again. I will not do anything bad ever again. And he keeps doing that. Whatever. Every episode has a different thing. But that's exactly what autosuggestion it is. It's repeating it so many times until it just becomes a part of you. Ones that I use personally. I put $30,000 into our bank account this month by producing exceptional results for the people I work with. I write that down twice a day. I'm an expert communicator. You know why I have to write that down? Because my natural state is not to be a good communicator. I just want everybody to figure it out, and I think that people should know things, and I don't want to make those phone calls, and I think people are idiots. So I write that down every day because I need to work on it. Our family is perfectly healthy. So these are examples of good auto-suggestion. But who here knows somebody that is always saying I'm broke? I can't afford that. That's auto-suggestion. Right? I can't have that. I'm fat. I'm lazy. I'm not smart. Why do you think that they're always telling parents when your kids are young, you have to be careful about what you tell them, right? Or you see kids and their parents, and you see what their parents are always telling them, and you see them 10 years later, and those thoughts are still stuck in their mind. So auto-suggestion can go one way or the other. It all depends on what you do with it. And I didn't put this in there, but what I find is that with this book, first off, a lot of people have never read it. Secondly, the people that have read it, a lot of them have never done it from cover to cover. And the biggest thing is that most people never go back and read it. But even furthermore, a lot of people that refer back to this, there's instructions in this book. They're not complicated, but what most people tend to do is they pick and choose what they want to do. They say, well, I like this makes sense, so I'm going to do this. But this one, that makes me kind of uncomfortable, or I don't want to do that every day, or whatever the case may be. That's kind of the way that we choose to live our lives, and with some things that works, but with a system, Casey used the example of a Jimmy John's. I don't know much about Jimmy John's, but I do know about McDonald's at least. If I go and buy McDonald's and I say, well, I like everything but the fries, I think I'm going to take the fries out of my McDonald's. You think that's going to impact the success of that business? I don't want to go to McDonald's without fries. That's my favorite part. It's the same thing with any system in business. If it is set up for success and you do not follow the system from start to finish with every little part, you're not going to receive the same amount of success or in the same amount of time as somebody that follows that system to a T. And so Hill said, if you choose to follow some of the instructions but neglect or refuse to follow others, you will fail. To get satisfactory results, you must follow all instructions in a spirit of faith. And the reason that I point that out is because auto-suggestion, out of all the principles in any system of success, auto-suggestion is almost always the one that is overlooked and or not done in the system. But you need this more than anything. And actually, this is a very short chapter in this book that actually says right in it that every other principle in this book is based off of auto-suggestion. So it's the foundation. It's a small chapter, but it is the foundation of this whole book. Auto-suggestion is the foundation of your success. So you gotta learn to use that. I can go on for a lot longer, but read through this, and that's it. Next person I'm bringing up is an absolute rock star. He and Casey and I were fortunate enough to go on a retreat that was really, really fun. We had some good discussions on the ride back, and I've just enjoyed getting to see this man's personal growth, from 1 year ago. It's been outstanding. He comes up here and he presents himself like he's been in this industry for years, and he has just caught on so quickly. He is a leader, he is inspiring, and the guy is just putting in the work and he's seeing the success. I'm so happy to bring up Mr. David Jones.